Good evening. The time is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this a regular Board of Selectmen meeting to order for April 27. Ask you please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mike Supra, Tom Sinkowitz,
Kevin Cunningham. Item C, to approve the meeting minutes from the Special Board of Selectmen meeting dated 3/30/2026.
I'll make a motion to accept the special meeting minutes from March 30th, 2026. I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D is public comment. Anybody here from the public wish to speak tonight?
My name is Brad Harmon. I am a Plainfield resident. I own a managed cybersecurity and regulatory compliance services firm. We actively audit, verify compliance, and implement solutions to meet regulatory requirements across multiple jurisdictions, including the United States, European Union, and the Caribbean, for clients in financial services, banking, security, trading, logistics, and a range of other industries. I had one of my auditors review one of the 4 drafts of the financial policies currently before this board tonight. Before I get into those policies, I want to speak to something broader because this moment deserves that context. This town has seen a bid awarded that has been reversed, and a commission where appointments were made without following the required procedural steps, which forced a delay and restart. I am not here to relitigate either of those. I raise them only as examples of what happens when a process is not followed completely and correctly from the beginning. As a citizen of this town, I expect Plainfield to follow all applicable laws, regulation, and policies fully, consistently, and to the benefit of everyone who lives here. That is the baseline. Ask any builder what they start with first. Not the walls, not the roof, the foundation. Every decision that follows is only as sound as what it sits on. The same is true for governance of this town. When the framework is right from the start, disputes do not happen. Awards do not get reversed. Appointments do not have to be unwound. The cost of getting it right from the beginning, getting anything is built, is always less than the cost of fixing it later. I want to acknowledge that this board is doing something that many boards at this size do not do, which is building a formal financial governance proactively. That is the right instinct, and the effort here is legitimate. What I am asking is that these policies be reviewed, tightened, and confirmed before adoption. Not because anyone acted in bad faith. Because no matter how confident we are in our own work, there's always a question we did not think to ask. Most of what needs attention is straightforward. A small investment compared to what is needed to fix things instead of after the fact. And I will close with this. I am not challenging these policies because they are wrong. I am challenging them because they need to be done right. There are law firms out there that represent significant sized businesses in this town that are better than this town could ever afford, and are far more motivated to find gaps in our documents than we are willing to close them. The best outcome for everyone in this room is that we never find out who those firms are, because we never give them a reason to get involved. That only happens when our policies are airtight from the start. Do it right the first time. Thank you. And I have for the board any audit compliance reports that you may want to close. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else from the public wish to speak at this time?
Kevin, I will just say I have one item I want to add to the agenda before we proceed. So what this would be item number 10 under new business, to discuss and add contact information for the selectmen to the website, town website.
That contact information is already there.
No, it is not. I actually checked this afternoon.
Okay, well, I checked with Diane and everything's there. If you don't want to have your phone number or your email address on there, you don't have to.
No, we're aware of that. I know that I talked to Diane. When I say we, I mean Diane and I. We're aware of that because we had a great discussion about a week ago, and she had said that it's an easy fix. She said it's just something that would require a formal discussion at a meeting, so I'd like to have that discussion.
And is she here tonight?
She is not, but she doesn't have to be here to add an item to our.
No, I know that, but I wanted her input, that's all.
Okay.
So if we make an action and she's not here to verify information, is it the right action?
So you don't think that I already had that discussion last
No,
week?
no, I wanted to hear all, the selectmen should hear all this.
You're basically just asking for our town-approved email to be put on our website, correct?
Mhm.
All right, that's what I'm getting out of it.
Okay. Do you have a town email?
We both do, I know that, I've sent emails,
Okay.
There's inquiries.
Okay. If that's all it is, and you want to put that on there for the town emails, I have no problem with just doing that.
Mhm.
Okay? He doesn't have to come to an action item to vote on it.
Okay.
That's all you want, is that information?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing here. So this page on the website, under Board of Selectmen, we are listed under Board Membership, and then under the tab of Contact Us. Right now, it's got Kevin Cunningham, Lisa Saros.
Okay, but if you take a look at the, underneath the boards and commissions, the Board of Selectmen, that information should be there.
Right, but
If
she,
you want to add those other two, I can do that too.
right, that's what she was getting
So,
at.
I can
Right.
do that,
Okay,
no problem.
all right.
Can I hold on to that?
Yep, please do. And then I retract my motion to add.
Okay. Okay, with that, we go into old business. There are some multiple items on here. I will mention right off the bat on number 5, discussion on veterans tax exemption proposal and additional land provisions. The person who wanted to talk about that is not here, so I've asked that person to either talk about rescheduling, or a better way would be to get that information from that person I can share with you. So item number 1, discuss and act on American Legion ambulance fiscal request for the upcoming 26-27 budget season. I know we've talked about this before, but what's your input? What's going on? Thoughts?
So I know that in attending a recent Board of Finance meeting, the Board of Finance discussed this in great length, and I do believe we need to take their input into consideration, as this is a fiscal responsibility of the town. So I know that you were able to get from that meeting what they discussed and the wording.
Yep. If you don't mind, I'll read through it, and we can say yea or nay to certain parts of it or all of it.
Okay.
So what we're looking to do is to appropriate a total of $150,000 to the American Legion 91 ambulance for funding to be allocated as follows. And again, this came right from the chair and vice chair. The base funding of $100,000 to be provided at the start of the contract term to ensure the continuity of emergency medical services for the town. Performance-based funding up to $50,000 for additional funding contingent upon the ambulance services meeting with the following conditions. $30,000 upon presentation of a comprehensive financial audit for the town, or to the town. $10,000 upon allowing a designated board member of finance to serve as an appointed representative for oversight and communications at American Legion Ambulance Services board meetings. And then an additional $10,000 upon consistent monthly attendance at Board of Finance meetings to present financial reports and operational updates. So that's what they had mentioned at their meeting, so I took that. They wanted other things as well, but I told them certain things are not appropriate, like having a voting member on their board I don't think is appropriate.
I don't have a problem. This is a lot more stringent than what I was going to propose. But now, just the total, I was looking to propose $150,000, and if I'm right, this is a proposal for $200,000.
No, this is a for 150.
150.
100 up front,
Yep.
and of the 50, there's have to hit those other steps, the 30 to 10 and 10.
Okay.
I believe they said after March 1st would be the second time the 50 would be awarded.
Okay.
Any other input?
Just on the part that you were saying was inappropriate, so do you think that you could make a point to, at an upcoming Board of Finance meeting, to go and discuss that with the board as far, just so they have an understanding?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned already to the chair and vice chair.
Okay.
In a return email, but I'll bring this forward to the Board of Finance to let them know, what I thought was appropriate and how we drafted it, which within their input does help. So what's your pleasure on this one?
I don't have a problem with it. I would make a motion
to approve the disbursement as read.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 2, and I'm going to turn some of this over to Lisa. She helped to draft all of these policies and discuss and act on a procurement policy. And in your packet, you've had it for a few meetings now for review. And this is something that's been around for a long time, but hasn't been updated for many, many years as far as the numbers go.
I agree, and I've said this, I think was the last meeting, Kevin, I agree that the policy needs to be updated, needs to change. And obviously, thanks to Lisa for working on this, but I'm not comfortable right now in basically almost any policy because I've spoken to a few different boards and their feelings, their input, and everything else. But right now, where that investigation is going on, I do not want to change procurement policy where we have an active investigation going on. That's my stance on that, Tom, for the procurement policy. Any other policies, to be honest with you?
Yeah, I do remember, Mike. I remember when you mentioned that in the previous meeting, and I agree. I don't think now is the good timing to be changing the procurement policy. Obviously, we have a draft here. We'll continue to review, continue to act on. But I also know, too, that at previous meetings I had mentioned how none of these policies listed here have a looming deadline in the month of April, May, June, July, August. And so, you know, I'm not in a rush to push any of these through right now. I do know that we have a lot of timely other items of business that are coming up. Obviously, the budget is the big thing. We got charter revision and other things coming up. But as far as the procurement policy, I agree. As Mike said, I don't think this is a good time, especially with the investigation.
So just to follow up, Mike, you're not looking to pass any of these for this particular meeting?
I'm not. I spoke to a couple Board of Finance members also. They have not gotten the input back from the board. They are obviously right now up to their necks in the budget. They're a green board. They basically just want to get their heads and their hands wrapped around that and then work on this. So, yeah, that is my opinion. I mean, obviously, we can go through all of them and discuss them or whatever else, but that is of my opinion right now. To not pass anything. Let's get through this budget season, see where the budget season goes, and let our boards digest it and come back to us. There's numerous members of the Board of Finance, and they haven't had input on it.
Okay.
Lisa, I had a thought too, is that I know you've done a great job as far as PowerPoint presentations going over the budget with the Board of Finance, you know, having it up there, the public could clearly see it, and we're following along, which I thought was a great way, because historically we didn't have that ability. So now that we do have it, I think one thing that we may want to consider is having a public informational meeting about all these policies. Of course, before we take any official action on it. So this is not something that I see us squeezing in anytime in the month of May, just because of the budget, the charter revision and all that. But again, we don't have to be in a rush on this at the moment. So I would like to certainly talk with you and Kevin about maybe what would be a date down the road to have a public informational meeting where you basically go through a couple slides for each one of these policies and explain it to the public. And I know one thing that I'll do on my part is I will promote the heck out of it and say, like, hey, you know, if there's criticism on these policies, before we act on it, this is your opportunity to come out and ask directly, obviously, to our finance director to work to put these together. And I think that would be beneficial. If nobody shows up to it, what I'll be more comfortable with at that point is at least we give them the opportunity, as opposed to us just having a quick discussion here and adopting them all at a Board of Selectmen meeting. So I think there's benefit to that. And obviously, I'm not looking to adopt anything at the moment.
Yeah, there's a PowerPoint presentation already online to draft, so there's no timeline for any of this. This is to try to get everyone out of silos and start working together and have...
Absolutely, we got to move forward.
So we have a motion to table then for items number 2, 3, 4.
I'll make a motion to table item number 2, 3, and 4.
Do you need an indication on it as far as, because I don't think tabling it to the next meeting.
No, well, what I'd like to do, and thank you, Mike, I would like to say I would take it off for now. I would ask that our board members and members of the different, like Board of Finance, go and ask after time to talk to Lisa about each one, if they have questions, and then we have that information available for the public informational meeting. So I would just take it off.
4, including like the town road aid.
Oh, that's the other one.
Non-recurring, do you want to table 4 or just 2 and 3 procurement?
I know it's your motion, Mike. I'll just say, I'm for tabling all four at this time. And I know, like, with the capital non-recurring, I know the Board of Finance had some recent discussion on that and concerns. So I wouldn't want to be adopting that at the moment either.
Yeah, so the town road fund policy is probably the only one. Let's table them all. Let's table them all. We'll bring them all back up as a group.
Because you guys have created, they would fund it, that's how the step's done.
Yep. Okay, I'll second that.
All right, so just to finalize this and get proper discussion, do we need, Lisa, do we need to have the capital non-recurring fund policy in place when the budget passes?
Yes, otherwise they remove that after the public hearing.
Okay.
The idea of the capital non-recurring is a savings plan for capital items instead of a pay-as-you-go method.
Okay, so we may have to have a meeting just for those items, just to make sure that we're in sync. But I would do that right around, if the budget, passes, we can have it done immediately.
Are you comfortable talking about it, for or against it? Or not yet?
Talking about the non-reoccurring,
Yeah. The idea?
I would be more comfortable after our public hearings. I think that was what the board said.
Okay.
Is that what we agreed upon?
You
I don't know, I
agree?
already have some issues right now, so.
You wanted to wait to see if they set up, that's fine, whatever the board chooses, we can come.
You have issues with what?
So I don't remember us discussing with the fire department or with the ambulance that we wanted a voting member. We just wanted a member to sit at the board to be able to come back to the Board of Finance to relay what was going on in their meetings. I don't remember Mr. Cunningham stating anything was inappropriate. Maybe I missed that.
If you don't mind, what I'll do after the meeting, I'll show you the email, so you know they came from your board, and then that gives you an understanding of why I said that.
Yeah, because I don't remember the discussion
Okay.
on that. So I don't know if that was something the chair and the vice chair relayed.
Yes.
They understood, but
Yes.
I don't think the entire board did. So yeah, I took a little exception to that because I understood it. We just wanted someone there as a representative of the Board of Finance to relay back and forth to us where their finances were at, like
Right, and the way it was drafted in the email added those other items in there.
the policies. I mean, do you want me to speak on all of them or just CNR?
CNR.
Just CNR?
Fire and maybe town road aid, because it's not really operational, but if you're not comfortable, then don't.
Yeah, I'll wait.
So here's another thought I just had is, I know that there was talk at the recent workshop about, how much the board may want to approve to be in that meeting. They may not be comfortable with the current amount in there. So let's just say, for example, that after the public hearing, the Board of Finance wants to zero that out and not have anything. At that point, does it make a difference if we have it in existence, if it's zeroed out?
Well, you have to create it first before you can fund it. You want me to go up here to the mic? Good evening, everybody. So the reason that I wanted to come up with some of this is the capital improvement, I feel, has been piecemealed. I feel like I've heard the term wish list before, and I want to get us better than a pay-as-you-go method. And the way to do it is to start off with a savings account. This town actually used to have a capital non-reoccurring before, a CNR. And what you do is you fund the CNR, and then you have individual items come through saying, hey, we've got 3 bids. We want to go through and approve this item. Instead of having a laundry list at the time of the budget, it's just one straight dollar amount item. This way, the taxpayers get a chance to vote on every single thing on an individual basis, and it's more of a true capital policy altogether. Now, the town road aid is something a little different. The state gives us funding through town road aid, through MSR, and then we get LoSiP funds, and those all have to be recorded separately. LoSiP actually would go to the capital non-recurring, let me back up. But the town road aid, for example, we got $93,000 more this year than last year. So it looks like the town operating expenses and revenues went up by that 90-something thousand, when technically we don't have a choice in the matter. So right now, the taxpayers are voting on this 90-something thousand additional operational funds that truly are not operational. It's a grant from the state that has to be used for a road. It's a certain law, and we have to report back to the state. So I'm saying, let's get this stuff out of our operational budget, because it truly doesn't belong there. And then as part of the fund balance, the town road fund policy, that the Board of Finance will get on a monthly thing. It's a new line of thinking. It's taking it out of operation and giving it allocation. This way funds aren't intermingling. There's, clear, transparent lines. There's actual reporting, what goes in the town road, as well as the capital non-recurring. So those two are a little bit different than just your standard procurement policy. And so that was why I wanted to set it up that way. I want to get out of the silos. I want to have some kind of organization and long-term plan for capital.
Thank you, I agree.
Thank you. So on the website has been all the copies of the draft policies since February, as well as there's a Q&A. So if you guys have questions, like it doesn't supersede Board of Finance responsibilities, Board of Selectmen responsibilities, you know, what the government has. It's pretty much, you guys just create the fund. It can stay zero forever. You can create it tonight, and if Board of Finance never approves it, that's how it works. That's how you have the segregation of duties and the separation of powers. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? So there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, again, item number 5, we're not going to discuss because that individual's not here tonight. Item number 6, discuss and act on disbursement of the donation funds. So this was monies that were collected via a Salute to the Troops 5K from last Labor Day weekend. And according to the donation and gift policy, the Plainfield Rec is looking to, with Board of Selectmen approval, to make donations as following. The American Legion Post 91, $464. Plainfield VFW Post 5446, $464. And Veterans Coffee House, $464. So what is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to disperse that as read.
I'll second that. I do have one question, Lisa, for part of this discussion. Is this noted anywhere in our regular monthly financial statement? Like, meaning, somebody has a question, you know, I understand the breakdown here, and I understand what this money had come from, but if somebody looked at this and is like, they're not familiar, where would they see where this came from, what we're dispersing?
It would be an accounts receivable line item, it's currently not disclosed anywhere. You'd have to call my office and we would give you the breakdown.
Okay. All right, good to know, just in case there is somebody wondering where it came from, I'll be in touch with you.
And the piece of that will be changed as we move to the new accounting software. The fund balances and receivables are obviously part of the monthly financial package. Once I get the new software, effective September 1st.
Okay.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Item F, new business, consider an act on the tax refunds as requested by the tax collector totaling $2,504.49. There are multiple here from one company, CoreLogic centralized refunds, one's for $227, one's for $1537.07. You have 2 more at $227. You have 1 at $250, and then there is one for Michael C. Closing, $9.30. T&M Distributions Inc. for $27.12.
I'll make a motion to act on the tax refunds as read, totaling $2,504.49.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
In your package, you should see the following items. The first one up is for I discuss and act on adding a member to the Charter Revision Commission as part of Connecticut General Statute 7-190. So we have multiple people who have put their names in for wanting to be on the board.
And how many people do you want, Kevin?
I think it's appropriate for 7. As the state statute says, it's anywhere from 5 to 15. Once you get up past 7, then you're having people really, it takes a long time to get the discussion, concluded. But I think 7 people is an appropriate number.
And we have 5 that put in: Paul Sweet, Chief Mario Arriaga, Trav Harmon, and Virginia Howe, correct?
There's another one.
Who was the other?
She's from our rec department.
I don't have it. I definitely don't have it.
I thought it was in your packet.
Yeah. Yeah, Linda's Jarvis, I remember.
Bear with me a second.
Bob Smith. Brittany, that's who it was.
Yep.
Brittany Moore,
Brittany Moore?
program coordinator.
Yep.
Rec department. Yeah, that's who it
And
was.
who were the formers? Because we had a motion to put them on yet, correct?
Yes, we did that last month.
Okay.
Right.
So just Brittany Moore I was missing?
Yep. I can get you a copy of that after.
so I guess just for clarification, so her correspondence to us was as of March 25th, 2026. So wouldn't we have reviewed that at the March 30th meeting?
I would have to take a look back.
Okay.
Yeah, wait a minute, you have the minutes, right?
Here's the minutes right here.
Right.
I thought there were 3 people on it already. She might have been one of them 3.
She was.
Yep. She is. She's already
Yeah.
got Brittany Mora, Rob Smith, and Linda
Linda
Jarvis.
Jarvis.
So you have 4 more coming in. That'll make it 7.
Okay, so they're all on, there's a motion. So I make a motion for Paul Sweet, Chief Mario Ariaga, Trav Harmon, and Virginia Allen to be added to the commission.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second for those 4. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 3, discuss an act on adding a member to the Inland Wetlands Commission, which we are in dire need of.
We had one submission. The submission was Paul Sweet.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept and put Paul Sweet on the Inland Wetlands Commission.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is discuss an act on adding a member to the Plainfield Housing Authority.
No, the only one that we got put in was Edward St. John.
Yeah, Edward St. John.
I make a motion that we appoint Edward St. John to the Plainfield Housing Authority.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next up is item number 5, the highway garage cross ventilation issue. What happens there is a few years ago they put the roof up, and the roofing store that did the work covered over the vents. So the idea is we don't want to leave that without proper ventilation to help them out. So they brought it to my attention. We went out to get some bids. This New England Servicing Controls was the bidder.
And they were the only bidder, huh?
Yeah. We try. We actually call out to people, try. This falls under procurement policy, just underneath the $10,000. We do try to keep on, keeping in touch with people to see if they would actually put a bid in, and no one did.
Okay, but what year was the roofing done?
Oh God, 2020. We voted on it in 19 and was put up to 20.
Okay. So there was no indication between 2020 and now that this...
That's what I asked. I said, did you guys not realize? And it was basically because this winter really was something that brought it to their attention because they're running the trucks so long inside that it really does need ventilation.
I agree.
So if you do make a motion for this, the grand total would be $9,991 for New England Service and Controls for a vent system at the highway garage.
Yeah, I guess one comment I'll just make is that I think this also goes to show that in the future, we definitely need to, I think, establish more of a, quarterly, biannually walkthrough of our town buildings. I know it's been talked about at capital strategic planning, but to me, it's like something like this. I do walkthroughs in my business complex all the time, and I know that there's things I've caught on after a project gets done, and it's just one of those things of sometimes you need a new set of eyes. So Ron Garubi might not notice it, and some of the other highway guys because they're busy, they're focusing on their tasks at hand. But maybe it needs to be one of us. Maybe we need to be joined by Lisa, and just a couple of us need to go up there. And again, we can determine as far as how frequent it needs to be, but at least on an annual basis, kind of like the way the schools do an annual walkthrough of the school buildings, just to maybe catch some of these things, hopefully earlier on.
So I like health insurance as well as capital and asset determined depreciation schedule.
Yeah, but I think it would be good to have, not a huge group. I'm not talking about bringing an army and do these walkthroughs, but a couple different representations. So, for example, with the Board of Ed, it's not just all Board of Ed members. It's some personnel from the schools. The Board of Finance was always invited. I always went as chairman of the Board of Finance. So, I could see a very small group of such as, for Selectmen, Finance Director, maybe a member of the Board of Finance, small group like that to just do a quick, looking around and see is there anything that we catch that obviously nobody else, just because, now to be addressing it's like, of course we need to address it now, but it just would be nice to catch some of these things earlier on.
So what's your pleasure on this?
I make a motion that we approve New England Service and Controls to put in the ventilation system in the town highway garage at the amount of $9,991.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There is also in your packet item number 6. Item 6 has information for, we did put an RFP out for solicitation for the paving management program services. This is something that we have looked into because of the needs to have a professional company come in and give us an idea of what our roads look like, give us analysis. They would be using AI also to do the analysis to help us out, categorize each of the roads and when they were either crowned over, multiple layers, or if they were most recently redone totally, and then give the assessment of which are the next roads to be done. It takes out of the hands of our highway department staff from doing that, and it makes it a more professional manner, but also come up with a list of, being able to show up online, here's your next roads that will be done over.
Can I speak to this? Hey, everyone, once again. So one thing I noticed with the roads is I wanted to get a more structured process of how we're paving or not paving our roads right now, as well as get a feel for manhole covers, drains, to try to move along with MS4. So there's companies out there that actually go out and they drive along all the roads, and they actually assess, where the manhole covers are, give an analysis. So it's a third-party analysis of every single road within the town, and then they'll rate it. So in addition, it helps me with the asset structure for the town, but it helps us determine what roads do we want to do first, what roads need to be addressed first, and then when we have the governmental town road aid, that's why I wanted that policy, say, okay, now we can go into RFP, we want to contract with a company for X number of years to cover X number of miles, and these are the fundings that we have appropriated over the next couple of years. So it's a third party, it's an interactive software that we can all look at, it's very simple, a lot of towns are already doing this, and it's actually cool. So it's a third party. We start focusing on our infrastructure. Our roads have a definite plan, and it's all computerized and accessible online. So we did have 2 companies, Beta Company and Ty and Bond. Both are excellent companies. Their proposals were fantastic, but one just came in a lot lower than the other. And I do have these proposals if anyone wants to look at it.
That's what I wanted to ask you in the future, because I know that we have transposed numbers on documents. If we could get in our binders just the bid proposals with them. I know they're thick, just if I'm reading something
Well, it's hard
off.
because they're bound.
Okay.
These ones are bound.
I got your rating sheet, and
Yeah.
then I got the other stuff, but I didn't actually get the bid proposal, so all I have is the handwritten numbers that you gave, or whoever gave. Okay.
So you can take those if you like, because they're bound.
Yep.
And that's the numbers right there, and the options are right there.
Right, I like this, the whole rating sheet that you did, how you did that now, I like that. And I have no problem with that, I just want to be able to see the numbers that are on this page, or the numbers that were in. So I think we caught something last month or the month before that was transposed, numbers. That's all I just don't want to have the problem of we're moving bids around.
That's why I brought it today, so you can look at it, that's fine. If it's very hard to copy all of them,
Yeah.
I just want a copy of the bid sheet that they do, I can do that maybe.
Yeah.
This is a 16-week thing too, by the way, guys. So
Thank
it
you.
says it's beginning to end, 16 weeks to have to do all the analysis.
And it's the town's recommendation that we use Beta Corp, correct?
Correct, that's the lowest bid by about 11,000.
Yep.
Both are excellent companies, you can't go wrong with either one.
And I think the important thing to note here is that this will produce to the public an accurate list, because that gets talked about a lot. I know at Board of Finance meetings, it has all the years that I've been on it, as far as what is our priority list, as far as our worst, our not so bad, and then okay, and all those different levels of road condition. So I think that's what the public needs to just understand, is that this will be beneficial, because they'll be able to look at it and see it's not just a favoritism of where we're going to do roads, it's based on the condition.
And I heard the same exact thing you did. In my first month here, there was no road management schedule, and everyone kept asking it. And so I went to, cost a couple conventions, and I saw these companies, and they're like, yes, we do. And I'm like, really? I'm like, show me more. And they're showing me the interactive, and this is how I actually found out by going to different conferences. So it's really neat. It's super cool. I'm a geek, I'm sorry. But then we'll have like all the roads up and they'll be rated, and we'll actually have a plan of how we're gonna help our infrastructure with paving.
And we've talked about it. I have no problem with that. I'd make a motion that we award the pavement program to Beta Corp for a total of $34,900.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as soon as it's done and we get the information back, we can put it up online so people can see it.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's there if you guys are going to.
Item 7, discuss and act on the town seal policy. You have that in your packet.
Why is this all of a sudden coming up, Kevin?
Well, we have someone who does have a seal on the side of the vehicle. It was a question I had for the insurance company. I said, does that put us at a liability issue? And they concurred that that definitely does. And I also had asked the chief if, what he does with the vehicles, obviously, for liability issues, they, undo, like, Mike, they undo the wrap, every vehicle is taken into careful consideration. I'm taking out all the information related to it. So it was something we wanted to make sure we have an understanding of. So this is written up by our HR. And then we talked to Chris Wardrop from our USI Group for Insurance just to verify liability issues and concerns.
I know I'm not looking to adopt it as is. If anything, I would want it to reflect that it would be something that would have to be reviewed by the Board of Selectmen, because the way I saw it worded is that it would basically have you as the sole caller of it. So if it was phrased as the Board of Selectmen meeting, if there are issues, we bring them up, we discuss them, we act on them as a Board of Selectmen, not just as singly as the first selectman. That's something that we can consider, but that's not how it's currently written.
Right. Where would that be, the language?
It's in the first line of the policy.
Yeah.
It says about the first
But isn't it anywhere else? Just that one?
That was the only part that I...
Where exactly is that, Mike?
If you look on the first page underneath policy, you look at the policy,
Yeah.
the official town seal is I wore my glasses, I could read it. The official town seal is the property of the town of Plainfield and will be used with proper authorization. Use of the seal is subject to the approval of the first selectman or the designee in coordination with the applicable department head.
Would you be comfortable with changing that to the Board of Selectmen versus First Selectman?
Mm-hmm.
And then that would be okay?
Yeah, something that we can
Okay.
discuss and act on, yeah.
All right. Why don't we do that then? And just make a change from that line by the Board of Selectmen. You don't have to put or designate. Just take that out as well. I was looking, I didn't see it anywhere else, so. In that case, you okay with this?
Do you have any other questions or comments on it?
No, just that this was something that, again, it was kind of no real time built in to review, so I'm not looking to adopt it personally tonight. Obviously, that was one change, there may be more, but there wasn't a lot of time built into this. Like, for example, this was not something we've been talking about since February,
Okay.
March, and so I think it could be a continuation of discussion, personally.
I have no problem with it.
Motion?
Motion to table the town seal policy
I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
with the corrections made.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the next one is to anticipate going to executive session to discuss strategies and negotiations about a pending claims or pending litigation involving the agency or a member. I would ask at this time that we adjourn as a Board of Selectmen to my office for executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will adjourn to my office at 7:39.
Since the
Yes, they get.
Did they have
No.
Yeah. So.
We had
Thank you.
discussed it.
It was a-
Okay, the time is now 7:45, and we are now out of executive session with no action taken.
I would like to make a motion that the Board of Selectmen agree to the settlement agreement to occur for claim number A 29184 for the amount of $44,333.33.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And with that, we don't have other.
I do have one thing, Kevin, I just want to make sure it's noted in the minutes. I have for you here, I took the liberty of printing out the meeting minutes from the Capital Strategic Planning Committee meeting. I know you couldn't make it, you were out that week, so I noted in here the 3 sections that I want for discussion and possible action at the next May meeting.
We'll talk about it then.
Yep, so I just wanted to be on the record that that will be at the next Selectmen's meeting agenda. The other item I wanted to note that needs to be on the next Selectmen's agenda is just a discussion, no action initially, it can be a continuing discussion about forming of commissions and or committees for the town. As you are well aware, there's been some recommendations recently of possible creation of committees. It's not a mandate, it's something that we would need to discuss and give our own input on and then make a decision on down the road. But at the May meeting, I want to have a discussion on that subject.
Okay. Anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We now have our WPCA meeting. Go right to that. Time is now 7:48. I'd like to call this WPCA meeting to order for April 27th and do roll call.
Mike Supernell.
Tom Sinkowitz.
Kevin Cunningham. The approval of the minutes for special WPCA meeting dated February 26, 2026.
I'll make a motion that we approve special WPCA meeting minutes from February 26, 2026.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D, public comment. Anybody here from the public wish to speak concerning the WPCA meeting? Hearing none, we go into new business. Discuss and act on a bid opening for School Street Extension bridge replacement. I think I brought this information to you about School Street Extension a while ago. We are trying to be proactive by making sure we work on that as soon as possible. The problem, in my opinion, about as soon as possible is it could take up to a year to get, we're starting with a bid process, we award the bid, they have the engineers come out, take a look at it, and then they say, okay, this is how much it's going to cost. And then we have to figure out where we get that money in for WPCA. And then the construction would start. But for anybody who doesn't know where that is, even behind there, behind the sewer departments on that extension,
Yep.
that old trolley that goes across is what they used to put hangers on to have a main pipe for sewer going across that river right there.
It's
So-
just a huge swing in price. From a half.
Oh, yeah.
From $500,000 to
We
$70,000.
were shocked.
Yeah.
So that's what that's about. This is just to get the first part of it going for the design. I will say that we have met multiple times with Cardinal, a very good company, and I would recommend that we go with Cardinal at $69,000.
I would make that motion that we award the bid to Cardinal for $69,000 upon your recommendation.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This time, we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're now adjourned.